everyone, welcome to Distinction Casts, where ADOM showcases the best and the brightest minds in the dental industry from within our Dental Management Association. And these members hold ADOM distinctions. My name is Savannah Carlson, the Director of Member Services and an ADOM distinction holder myself, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today. So Distinction Cast is more than just insights into dental management. It's a dynamic platform designed to amplify the voices of ADOM's distinction holders, providing them with the opportunity to educate and inspire their peers. By tapping into this expertise of ADOM distinction holders who are in the trenches of everyday management, we aim to empower and support leaders as they navigate the challenges and opportunities of running successful dental practices. But this wouldn't be possible without our sponsors.
Today's Distinction Cast brought to you by Patterson Dental, your partner in shine. At Patterson Dental, we see your shine, ADOM stars, and to show our appreciation and help you shine even brighter, we're offering one lucky member a diamond necklace. Enter by May 31st at pattersonddental.com/ADOM for your chance to win. And if you're listening after May 31st, don't worry. We're offering resources, exclusive member deals, and more giveaways throughout 2024. So visit pattersonddental.com/ADOM for the latest. Thank you for all you do, office managers. From your partner in shine, Patterson Dental.
I'm excited to introduce ADOM's first Distinction Cast educator, Erica Pasillo. Erica is the practice optimizer at the Spodak Dental Group in Delray Beach, Florida. A true leader in her field, Erica was awarded the 2023 ADOM Green Leader and is a two-time recognized practice administrator of distinction. Her journey in dental industry began in 2009 as a dental assistant, and since then, she's risen to lead a team of 50 in a single location, multi-specialty, state-of-the-art practice. Her dedication and expertise have earned her the DADOM distinction, which she received in 2022, and it's the highest recognition level ADOM offers. But Erica's impact doesn't stop there. She's also passionate about bringing out the potential in others and regularly speaks to dental teams through the Bulletproof Dental Practice. I want to welcome Erica. Erica, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Savannah, for having me. And I just want to say I sound amazing when you read that. I was just like, wow, dang, who is that person? It's so interesting, to hear yourself or, to be talked about like that. And I'm just so humbled to be a part of the ADOM network and to be able to learn and grow. And it's just exciting to see that recognition and to be here sharing with everybody today. One of my strengths.
Okay. Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, one of my strengths and one of the things that I really enjoy doing within my practice is implementing. And so that's one of the things that I wanted to share with everybody today. I feel like a lot of times where we get all hung up, because office managers are amazing at creating, ideating, and, just getting really pumped and excited for what's next in their practices.
Yeah.
And oftentimes where it falls short is the implementation and getting the team on board. So I'm excited to share that.
Mm-hmm. It's like when you come back from a conference or a really rock star certificate program and you have all of these new things that you need to get done and you're just like, how do I do that effectively? And how do I get the doctor to be on board with that? So I'm super excited for you to share your knowledge with everyone in the dental industry.
Awesome. Well, let's get started.
Here we go.
So you already talked enough about me, so I don't need to introduce myself with that. I am, if you guys can see, in the sunny South Florida. It is absolutely gorgeous here, and I am super excited here. One of my favorite quotes is this one here, and basically what it means is if you have a plan and you don't follow through, the plan is worthless. But if you don't have a plan, then your target is aimless. And what I love about that is that you really need both. You need to have a plan, and you also need to be able to implement that plan. And so I have a system cycle here on the left-hand side. And basically, anytime you want to bring a new idea to life, you have to create a system or a process in order for that to be sustained. And so step number one is, what does your dentist want, or what does the office manager want? What is it that we're trying to create or do? Then we're going to collect some information. And then from that information, we're going to create the plan. Then we have to implement that plan. And then we need to measure and make sure, did that plan actually come to life the way that we intended it to? anytime we have a plan that we've done for the very first time or that we're implementing, expect there to be hiccups, expect there to be bumps in the road. And so this is kind of a calibration cycle that once you go through and you measure, is this really effective? Tweak the stuff that doesn't work, and then go ahead and go through the cycle again. We're going to focus on implementation. So step number 4 in this presentation. And in order to implement effectively, you need to have the team's buy-in. You need to have clear communication, accountability, and the fun stuff, which is incentives. So team buy-in. We are going against a society narrative that work sucks. And this isn't dentistry, right? This is everywhere. And even time and time again, we may find ourselves having this mindset, this sentiment that work sucks. We're burnt out, we're overworked, we're tired. And if this is the mindset that maybe yourself has or your team, and now we're trying to introduce a new idea, which means new work, more things added to my plate, you're going to get the grumblings of your team. You're going to get people that are going to say, I'm going to pick the path of least resistance, and I'm just not going to do what I can't handle anymore. And really what it comes down to, and we can't change the sentiment of what's going on in society, but we certainly can try to shift that within the 4 walls of our practice. And so one of the ways that we do that is by providing an inspiring workplace. People want to feel like they're adding value, and the way we add value is through contribution and through participation, by having a voice, to feel like we are effectively creating changes within our work environment. A lot of times when it comes to work, we fall into this trap of creating an environment of, these are the things that you have to do because there are things that you have to do, and here's a checklist that you have to work off of within your practice. But we never consider that our team may want to be a part of creating those checklists, or creating the vision, or creating what the future of the business is going to look like. And when you have people that can truly feel like they have a voice and they can contribute, now you have engagement. You have people excited to implement, because essentially they're implementing a little piece of them too. And I've also been in the trap of this as well, is that, you're rolling something out and people don't do it. And so our first judgment is they're lazy, they don't care. And this is what I love about Tony Robbins' quote here. People aren't lazy. They simply have goals that do not inspire them. And what I mean by that is we have goals that actually don't affect them as a human being, because all we do is we focus on what's good for the practice. And when you create things and when you implement things, you have to talk about a win-win. What's good for the practice? What's good for the team? And actually win-win-win. What's good for the patient? So how do we create team buy-in? Number 1, team participation. It's huge. Now, I'm not saying create a democracy, okay? So there are some things that the team may not have an opinion on or can't participate within, but wherever applicable, have them contribute, have them participate, whether that's in meetings or through emails or asking for feedback. Make sure that you know, or that they know, they have a voice. Judgment-free zone, this is huge. And sometimes we don't even realize that we're doing it. So you have to put some intention behind this. If somebody actually steps up and contributes an idea, and maybe it's a really dumb idea or it's so outlandish, you're almost like, you're ridiculous for even bringing this up. You want to make sure that you have that filter on, where you can actually acknowledge the person for stepping up and contributing. Because what happens is somebody took the initiative to give you feedback, which means you have engagement, whether the feedback's good or not. So you're already step 1 in a positive direction. Step 2, ideas are messy. Ideas are just something that pops into our brain, and sometimes we don't even think about it, especially if we're talking about it for the first time in the moment. But that bad idea can actually inspire somebody else to have a really good idea. Or maybe that bad idea came about one time, but that team member at a different meeting will have another really great idea. So you don't want to squander your team anytime that they bring up something, even if it's not very good. Part of what I love to do is that when people come up with an idea, or maybe something's crazy where I'm like, we're definitely not doing that, then I'll usually say, thank you so much for coming up with that. And then we can build on the ideas of others, and we can say, how can we maybe implement part of that, or how can we bring that to life somewhere else within the practice, versus saying a complete no. that's the concept there. Step 3, building on the ideas of others, which means we can collaborate. We can take a little piece of what everybody really wants to bring to the table to truly create something that represents your team and your culture. Then you want to finalize and assign. Okay, so if you're whiteboarding this out, most oftentimes in a meeting, sometimes you come up with all these really creative ideas, but you never leave the meeting knowing which one you're actually going to implement. So make sure you actually finalize that and make sure everybody knows this is the idea that we're going to move forward with. And then assign who's ultimately going to be in charge of making sure this actually happens. I know a lot of times, again, when we have that excitement in the room, we assume who's going to be doing it, but we never actually clearly communicate who's going to be doing it. So this brings me on to communication. This is so important, communication. And no matter how good you think you are at communicating, there's always room for improvement because we have somebody else on the other end that is listening. And it's subject to their interpretation if they're understanding what we're trying to say and what we're trying to communicate. My advice is you always have to make things as simple as they possibly can be. You cannot have team buy-in if your team doesn't understand what you're trying to say. And again, I know that we have a lot of experienced people out there, and even for myself when I'm creating things, I like to create these beautiful, well thought out, structured systems, super elaborate. And the fact of the matter is, if you're trying to bring people in, if you're trying to get people to do the things that you want them to do, if it's not easy, if it's not simple, if it's not quick, it's not going to happen. So here we go. We've got some essentials. Is the result clear? Do people understand where we're trying to go? What is the win that we're trying to develop here? Is the process simple? Who is accountable for the process? By when does it need to be complete? Okay, this one I forget all the time because we have a lot of assumptions when we communicate. I will say something to somebody, and for some reason, without communicating, I'll assume they know what I meant and how urgent or non-urgent or by when this needs to be done. And so when you don't have these core elements, in your communication, you will get exactly what you receive. People will fill in their own assumptions and in their own blanks in the absence of communication. I know for me, a lot of times, sometimes the doctor will say something and I'll say, hey, Erica, I really need this report done, or I really need X, Y, and Z done. And sometimes I will say, oh, okay, that seems not important. So I'm going to put that lower down in my priority list. And maybe he follows back up with me at the end of the day and where's my report? And then we could have some miscommunication there. Or on the opposite end, maybe I stop everything that I'm working on to work on this report for the doctor when he actually really meant in a week or two from now. So this is really critical to make sure that you have that by when does it need to be complete and level of urgency and priority.
Ready to see the rest of this Distinction Cast and elevate your skills? Join ADOM now to access the full content and a world of resources. Your next big step is just a click away